everyone! In the video of today we want to share with you our experience of living 4 full months in the small 2-person tent. We were able to cross 3 countries, hike more than 500 kilometers and spend more than 125 nights in it. And we truly think it was one of the best summers in our life. We'll tell you how it was in general, what difficulties we faced, what priceless lessons we learned from it, and why in our opinion everyone should try it. So hopefully it will be an inspirational video to you. And let's begin.
So it all started when we left for a hiking trip at the start of June, and we didn't have an exact plan for how many months we're going to travel, but we knew it will be at least for a couple of months. But previously we had some experience of long hikes, but it was only for months.
Also at that point we knew that we're going to stay exclusively in the tent every night, because for us it is a part of joy when hiking and an indispensable part when we're traveling. So we knew we won't stay anywhere else.
First we did Tour de Mont Blanc hike, which was quite a challenging start. And we had to carry lots of food supplies with us.
But nevertheless, we enjoyed camping out on the trip, mostly in the wild, even though sometimes it was very hard to find a spot because of the difficult terrain. Here we probably survived the most nights with a thunderstorm, and it was really intense. Every morning we were awarded by the amazing views out of the tent, and often we couldn't believe our eyes, so beautiful it was. And then after 11 days hiking in the Alps, we moved to the coast to do the Cinque Terre trail. It was a very short 3-day hike, but one of the most challenging again, because of the very rocky and mountainous coast. But still we were able to wild camp 2 nights and 1 night spent in the campsite.
Then we started Via Francigena trail, where we planned to cross all the province of Tuscany in Italy.
Right from the beginning we realized that there won't be many campsites on the way, so we were ready to stealth camp almost every night. We did this hike in July, and it was probably one of the hottest months to be there. So we really suffered from the heat, and even at night the air was so stuffy that it was hard to breathe. The hike was going mostly through the fields, so we had to camp right on them. We made sure to camp close to the tree line and out of the roots, so that nobody could spot us. After that we had some rest days in the most secluded and quiet campsites we've ever been in the outskirts of Siena, Italy. It was a perfect place to surrender to nature and its peace out of the big car roads and people movement. We spent some beautiful days there, just chilling out, observing nature, swimming in the river and getting the best sleep ever. And finally, closer to the end of August, we traveled to the province of South Tyrol in Italy, where we planned to do some hiking trails in Dolomites mountains. We spent the first week in the campsite in the little village called Glurns, situated very close to Austria, and could appreciate the wonderful Venosta Valley with its endless apple plantations, incredible lakes and mountain views.
Then we had another 2 weeks traveling around Dolomites and discovering their one-in-a-kind beauty.
There we spent only 1 night wild camping in the forest, because it was very hard to find a camp spot, and also because the rules of wild camping are very strict there. But fortunately there were quite a lot of campsites, and so we stayed most of the nights there. Apart from incredible mountain views every morning and breathing the freshest mountain air, we experienced probably the coldest nights there. The temperature dropped down to 0 degrees Celsius, and it was the first time when without extra blankets it would be impossible to sleep. And that was the end of our 4 months journey full of adventures. And now that you know a brief summary of our trip, we're finally ready to share with you the lessons we learned from this incredible experience. And we'll start with the more significant ones.
Easy displacement. First of all, having a tent with you and camping out allows you to move from place to place very easily. You just take everything in your backpack and you're good to go. And if you don't like the place, you change location right away.
But the downside of it is that you have to carry all on your shoulders, but it's a really small price to pay for what you get, in our opinion. Also, in some noisy places it can get really noisy, because there are no walls in the tent to isolate, of course. So choosing the right quiet places is important. Having your own little space everywhere you go. This is one of the most important advantages for us, because we're the type of people who always need their own private little area. Also, it takes us a lot of time to get used to a new place, so we just love coming in our own little home every evening, and we don't mind the sizes of it. And just for having this home-like feeling, it is irreplaceable to us.
Lessons of minimalism. Living in such small space for a long time teaches you precious lessons and even can change your life. This minimalistic approach to things in action. You train the skill every day. You realize you can carry everything needed with you. And after some time you don't feel any lack of extra things.
And when you come back home from it, you clearly can see the huge amount of unnecessary things laying all around you. Thanks to this experience, we downsized the amount of things we have at least in half, and we're still working on it. So it definitely clears up your mind and changes your perspectives. And with that we realize that emotions and feelings are more precious than anything in life. And our happiness doesn't depend on things and they don't define us. Connection to nature. When you're sleeping out every night, you start to listen to nature and animal sounds and better understand their life. You start to hear more sounds and notice more little things around you that before you didn't have a chance to notice. Because if we think about the time we're normally walking in nature, how much time is that? 1, 2 or 3 hours only? And how many times we are able to spot any animal or hear some sounds? Not too often. And here you get to experience it every hour without interruption, and it is the most beautiful thing ever. You don't have to leave the house and go somewhere. You are already at the place. And so we went to sleep with the owl sound, fell asleep with the roe deer, and woke up by the bird song. That is simply impossible to experience in any other way rather than being in the tent.
The amount of inspiration you get is unbelievable. New fresh ideas come to your head and you want to create, to draw, to write, and it just never ends. So it's truly immersive and deep experience, with a lots of discoveries to make. The weather is important. Of course, the disadvantage of that is the weather. You become really dependent on it and feel every little change. If it's windy, you're gonna feel it by the tent movement. If it's raining, raindrops won't let you sleep. If it's humid, it's enter the tent very easily.
Also, if you don't have the right equipment, it can get really cold. But this summer we realized that it can get really hot as well, when the air was so stuffy inside and it was hard to breathe even at night. So good weather plays a huge part in it. All the space around you is home. That is also one of the best things about camping out. The amount of space you have available to you and the ability to always look at the horizon. And when we came back home, it felt so suffocating at first and have just a square room around you. So the lack of space is real.
The fresh air. The air you breathe when you're out is not the same as in the room. This fact know most of the people. The temperature we sleep in normally is too warm in the room, but when you're sleeping in a tent, you get the best sleep in your life, because you're breathing the freshest air and the temperature on summer night drops down to around 17 degrees Celsius, which is a perfect temperature to sleep in. So you wake up with a clear head and great new ideas. Wild camping is challenging sometimes. Wild or stealth camping can be pretty difficult, depending on the country or region, and you better learn the rules and laws in advance.
And they can be very confusing, so we just stick to the rule of setting up a camp at the dusk and leaving early in the morning, and normally it works just fine. Of course, it's important to find a good camping spot out of the car roads and everybody's sight. Sometimes in the hardest areas with the hard terrain or crowded areas, we spend hours looking for the camp spot, and when you're already tired, it's not something to be excited about. But this is really important, and this will make sure that your night will be all quiet and peaceful. Cooking out is another one of our favorite things to do when camping. There is a magic of making your own simple food and eating it out in nature. It tastes so well, not mentioning the good appetite you have when you're camping out. Nothing can beat it. The best views out of your tent. When you're hiking and camping out, you wake up every day with a different view. And sometimes it completely takes your breath away, whether it is the glorious mountain summit, the peaceful lake, or spectacular ocean sight in the beautiful morning light. The amount of beautiful sunsets you can meet are also countless.
So that was our story, sharing one of the best summers in our life, hiking and camping out. Hopefully there is enough reasons to convince you to try it yourself. It doesn't have to be for a long time. Start with several nights, then weeks, and see how you like it. We truly believe camping out is something everybody has to try.
So let us know if you would like to try it, or maybe you already did. Then we really want to learn about your experience and your lessons learned. Leave it in the comments below. That will be really appreciated by us and many other people who are just starting out. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And we say goodbye for now, and until very soon. Bye!